Overwatch 2 Season 18 is here, and with it we got a brand new bunch of balance changes, brand new perks, and even a rework for a specific hero, which we'll talk about. The addition of the new support hero Wuyang being added to the competitive queues, and a bunch of other stuff. So it's going to be an updated tier list for Season 18. It's going to be mainly a solo queue oriented tier list for your general tiers of play, from anywhere from high tier silver all the way up to mid to high tier plat. This is not a pro player tier list. This is not a high tier list for like your pro players, or like if you're in a 4 or 5 stack, that type of thing. Just mainly for your average tier players. So without further ado, let's get right into it. If you guys like these type of videos, leave a like, subscribe, share the video. Really helps out the channel. For some reason, for like the majority of you guys, I think like 75% of you guys that watch these videos are not subscribed. So if you are new and it's your first time finding my channel or finding any of my videos, please sub. Really helps out the channel, allows me to keep on creating this type of stuff for you guys going forward. I'm going to throw the list on screen for you guys right now. And we're just going to get right into it. I'm not going to waste any of your guys' time. The only thing that I ask of you guys is to not skip to the end of the video and then go into the comments down below and wondering why everything is where it is on the list when you don't watch any of the video. I'm going to try to be as thorough and in-depth as possible, explaining everything and why it's being played and why it is where it is on this current list. So if you guys also missed my Season 17 tier list, go check it out. I'll leave a link at the end of this video if you guys want to go check that out. Before you guys want to watch this one to see how much stuff has changed. There's going to be some heroes that I also talk about more than others, because a lot of them, there's a few that haven't really changed that much or don't really pay talking about very much. But we got the newest support hero to the game, which is Wuyang. I think Wuyang is incredible. I don't know if he's a ban worthy, but I think he's by far one of the best supports in the game. I really do. Are you going to be banning him, at least currently at the start of this season? I don't think so. I think the main thing with Wuyang is he's a pretty high skill cap support. And what you're going to be wanting to do with Wuyang is actually learning how to like curve his water orbs to actually do the damage. But they significantly buffed him, and he's a lot more fluid, no pun intended, and a lot more easy and fun to play than he was during the playtest a few weeks back. I think the main issue with him right now that they gotta address is his ult is probably the best support ult in the game right now, just beyond broken. And then the problem with his damage, like the problem with Wuyang right now, especially that I see that people are starting to get really good at him. The really good players, if you're really good at him, you can actually out damage the majority of the DPS heroes in the entire game. I don't think there should ever be a support hero in the game that does more damage than the majority of the DPS heroes. They gotta nerf his damage. I know it takes a lot of skill to be able to like whiff your water orbs around corners and all that type of stuff and charge them properly and that type of thing, but once people get really good at him, I think the damage numbers are just absolutely crazy, and it's already being seen that way, like with how much damage he's doing. His heals are incredible. His ult is one of the best support ults in the entire game. Plus, he has damage numbers that rival the majority of the DPS on the hero roster currently. The only thing I would change with Wuyang is I would nerf his damage, and then I think the stun on his ult I think is a little bit too much. I think it's a 1 second stun right now. I would nerf it down to like a 0.8 or 0.5 second stun. There was like an example too. I don't know if I have footage of it. If I do, I'll throw it in the background for you guys with all the other gameplay. But I had a game where I was playing Roadhog and I was going against a Reinhardt. The guy had around about like 300, or I don't even know how much. I think it was like 100 or 150 health left. He was almost about to die, and he got like Wuyang ulted. And with the shield, the guy was able to eat an entire whole hog as I was pinning him against the corner of the map and like trying to kill him. With the ult, he was able to live, stun me out, and then kill me in return from full health with a Wuyang ult after eating an entire Roadhog ult by himself after getting ulted by his support. So this goes to show you how fucking broken like the Wuyang ult is. If you can use it properly and you know when to use it and when to get value out of it, it is incredible, and it's probably one of the best ults in the entire game. I do think it needs to be nerfed in some way, but whether they're going to do any support changes to Wuyang, I don't know. There's rumors of like a balance patch either next week or the week after, so like a week or two from now, depending on you guys are seeing this. It might already be in the game. I'm not sure. They're supposed to be doing some bug fixes and some minor balance changes to some heroes. We'll see if he's one of those ones that does change. I don't know. I do think he needs to be nerfed, though. I don't think he's a must-ban yet, but he's really fucking good, and I'd say he's probably the top 3 best supports in the game currently. If you guys are not playing Wuyang, or you guys are not trying to learn him, I would recommend learning him because you're going to get a lot of value out of knowing how to play the character, and I think he's only going to stay the same or get better going forward. I don't think they're going to nerf him right away, so if you want to rank up fast, play Wuyang. I think he's really, really good currently, so keep on going. No particular order with these heroes either. Got Frage. I think Frage is probably the best projectile DPS in the entire game. I 100% truly believe that. I don't think she's a ban worthy as she was when she was originally released like 1 or 2 seasons ago, but I do think she's incredibly good. I just think the main issue with Frage is like her damage is also really weird because the majority of her damage, you shoot somebody and then they take damage. It's like a 2-second delay, which feels really weird to play against and really weird to do as like a DPS hero. But like you charge ults incredibly fast. If you're constantly getting picks and you're constantly killing stuff, you're gonna have ults. Like there are some team fights where I've seen Frages have like 2 or 3 ults in like one team fight because they just keep killing people and doing so much damage. Really good mobility, like her damage numbers are incredible. Probably the best damage numbers out of some of the DPS in the entire game. I think the only thing that's really holding her back is she does require a lot of accuracy. If you are not landing the explosive bolt, which is the main source of a lot of her damage, and you're not landing that on a lot of your stuff, then you're kind of average or below Frasier, but if you're landing the majority of your explosive bolts, by far she's probably the best projectile DPS in the entire game currently. I don't think she's ban worthy. They did nerf her a little bit for these past mid-season, for this past season, like a little bit other stuff they did balance-wise to her that toned her down a little bit, but I don't think she's ban worthy, but I think if you know how to play her, she can just rule lobbies, and I've seen a lot of Frasier still ruling lobbies this season. Still incredibly good. Next you got Sigma. I think Sig's like A tier. Like there's just nothing crazy about Sig at all. He's just your consistent tank that you can pick on like every map, and he's always going to do his job. I don't think there's really anything crazy about him at all, even with a few of his perk changes. I don't know. I haven't seen really anything crazy out of Sigma so far this season. Sojourn, I think, is still really good. She's not as good because she's a little bit more squishy. Like she got rid of one of her better perks, got changed out this season. Her perks I don't think are as good, at least some of her newer ones. The main new one that you're going to be running is the slow on the disruptor shot, which is incredibly good, but like the power slide generation of the railgun, and there's like 1 or 2 other perks that just aren't really the greatest on her currently, but I still think she's really good, just not ban worthy. You could probably argue, you probably even put her like A+ tier. I think there's just a lot better stuff, even especially for like Hitscan right now, which we'll talk about. Probably the lowest Sojourn's probably been in a while, just mainly because a lot of the other Hitscans also got way better perks than she did, so they're probably a lot better than what Soldier's gonna be running. But if you have a Mercy Pocket, or like if you're still really good at Soldier, she's really good. But I think if you really want to play a Hitscan right now, there's just a few better options we'll talk about momentarily. Reinhardt's really good. I'm putting Reinhardt in S tier. I think with the new perk that allows you to, I think if you land Fire Strike, you get attack speed. If you land Fire Strikes at close range or whatever it is, I think it's a tier 2 perk. He just goes crazy. I've seen a lot of really good Reinhardts. I think he's doing really, really good this season. And his main check, which is Ramatra, also got his main bug fixed that was allowing him to be incredibly good. And then Ramatra also got significantly nerfed with this season. So the main check to Ryan is no longer as good, which allows you to do your job a lot more. It allows you to just kind of have free reign over the game if you're really good. So I think Ryan's really good. One of the best tanks in the game right now. I don't think he's ban worthy, but he's really, really good if you guys want to play Ryan. Tracer, still really good, A+ tier. I'm not going to talk about it very much because nothing with her's really changed. The only thing that's really changed is you got a perk that if you melee somebody, you get a refund of your ammo. Apart from that, nothing with her's really changed at all. Comes down to the player most of the time. If you're a good or like above average Tracer, you're still going to put in a bunch of work. If you don't know what the fuck you're doing, don't play her. Genji, I think Genji is still really solid. I'll put him A+ tier. Not really much with him changed though, especially with the perks. kind of more average personally from what I've been seeing. Zen. I'm gonna put Zen at like A tier. I think the only reason you played Zen is just for the damage orb. And like I think the problem with Zen right now is he just still gets dove way too easily. And there's just a lot better supports that you would rather be playing. That's just the main problem with him. If you're not playing as a team around his damage orb, there's just no reason to play him at all because his heals are bad. And he's kind of just an ult bot. That's the only time he actually does reliable healing. And if you want a support that actually heals your team, there's just so many other better options. Life Weaver is incredibly good. I think Life Weaver is one of the best supports in the game right now, right alongside Wuyang. Really, really, really good. He also got a new tier 2 perk with his pedal. If somebody is on his pedal platform, whoever it is, I think they get boosted attack speed and reload speed, which is actually pretty cool. A little bit better in your like non-solo queue games when you can actually coordinate with a team on comms, or if you're in a duo or whatever it is, or a 3, 4, 5 stack. And you can have somebody like a soldier or like something that can just sit on the pedal platform the entire game and just have extra attack speed and reload speed like an Ashe or whatever it may be. I think you can get a lot more value that way. Not as much in your solo queue lobbies, especially because it's still at the start of the season. A lot of people don't really know what it does, but once people start realizing, oh yeah, he has a brand new tier 2 perk that allows me to get extra attack and reload speed, and if you're standing on the platform, I think a lot of people will actually start using it a lot more. But at least as of right now, I don't think it's as good in solo queue, but it's still really good. Super Bloom, at least for me, what I've been playing, is still the way to go. Just having the extra damage, being against like the tanks and some of the other stuff at like medium range, being able to stick them with thorns, and then having the extra burst damage with Super Bloom is just way too good. You get a lot more value out of that most of the time, especially solo queuing, just doing damage yourself than relying on your team. So, Kiriko, really, really good as well. I don't know if she's like S tier worthy, but I think she's A+ tier worthy for sure. Probably the lowest I've put her, but I just think there's a lot of other supports that are also really, really good currently. She's more of one of those supports that is kind of like more like counterintuitive or like counter-based as well. Yeah, like if the enemy team has an Ana, like you're gonna want to have a Kiriko if like they have a lot of stuff that you're gonna want to cleanse, or if you want something that has a lot of mobility, like decent damage numbers with still healing. I think she's one of those supports you're gonna probably play, but the main thing you want to play with Kiriko as well as Roadhog, and spoiler alert, Roadhog is probably the worst tank in the game right now, so that's one huge reason why I'm not putting Kiriko as high on this list, because one of the main tanks you actually play her with is probably the worst tank in the game, and you're not going to be seeing Roadhog as much, so there's a lot less value there, especially from the Kiri. Reaper, really good. I'm gonna put Reaper A+ tier. I think he's really, really good. I don't think he's S tier worthy, but really, really good. Incredibly good. I'm not gonna talk about him very much. You guys know how good Reaper is. Ana, S tier, really good. One of the best supports in the entire game. I don't think there's really much to say about Ana. Like, nothing with her's really changed. I don't think she's a ban worthy. The only time you're gonna ban Ana is if you're trying to play like Hog or like a tank that just doesn't want to go against her. Doesn't want to deal with the sleep dart bullshit or like the nade. Apart from that, I don't think she's really ban worthy at all. So I think I had her at like SS must ban for last season, which it was kind of a mistake, because she was being banned a lot at the start of last season, but after like the first 2-3 weeks of that season, it dropped off significantly, and she went from being like banned a lot of your games to never being banned at all. So I don't know what the fuck that was. Sombra, I'm gonna put Sombra in just ban tier, because I think she, at least from what I've been seeing still, she is getting banned in the majority of your games. Keep this in mind, I do not think Sombra is like game running really good, like can roll an entire lobby by herself type of good. The reason why she's being banned and why people ban her is just because she's really annoying, and especially in your solo queue lobbies with a bunch of random bumbling fucks that don't know what the fuck they're doing and can't coordinate at all. She takes advantage of that type of stuff, and she's kind of able to run the game in a lot of your solo queue lobbies. If you're in a duel, or like if you're in a lobby with like 3-4 stacks on each team, I don't think Sombra has nearly the amount of value unless they're all on comms and like 100% coordinated. She can't like do whatever she wants because everybody on the enemy team is like a solo queue player, and they're not on comms or coordinated as much. The reason why you're gonna see her banned though is just because she's really annoying to play against. Like, especially, I think she gets more value in your solo queue lobbies as well. So, like, if you're solo queuing and she does get through, I think she's still pretty good. But the main reason why you're seeing her banned is because she's annoying. I don't think she's incredibly good. Apart from her being, like, really annoying in solo queue lobbies, and if she wasn't banned every single game just from that alone, I'd probably put her, like, an A+ tier, like A tier. Because I just don't think she's that good. And if you want to play a DPS similar to her, I just think there's a lot better stuff you could be playing. Even, like, a Reaper's better, for example. I think you get a lot more value out of Reaper, but if she isn't banned and if you're solo queuing and she does get through, I still think she is pretty good in a lot of your solo queue lobbies. It also depends on your rank. If in your lower ranks, she does a lot better. If you're like gold 3 or like gold 1 and above, in like your lower tier plat and higher lobbies, that's where she kind of starts falling off because people kind of start knowing how to play against her and they don't really let her run the entire lobby or do whatever the fuck she wants the entire game. So it also depends on that type of stuff. Lucio. I fucking hate Lucio. If I'm being real with you guys, I'd probably put Lucio in don't play tier because anybody that plays Lucio is a fucking troll. In reality, I'd probably put him at like a B tier or like an A tier. The speed boost just isn't that good. I really don't think it's as good as like Juno. If I had to choose, I'd rather have a Juno on my team every time. The majority of the problem with Lucio, and like I'm being 100% fair with you guys because like I said, last tier list, I put Lucio in D tier because I had people throwing my ranked games. I haven't had that as much for this past season, towards like the end of season 17 and like this season so far. But at least the Lucios I've seen, they usually only play damage and they rarely heal, and this speed boost just isn't enough value. I just don't think he's that good, and if you want to play a support that does that stuff, just play Juno. I really think Juno's just way better. Hanzo's a lot better than he was. His perks make him a lot more consistent. Do I think he's like incredibly good though? Like, I don't know. I'd say probably A+ tier. I don't think he's any higher than that though. If you want a projectile, like there's just still a few better projectile heroes in the game when it comes to DPS. If you're really good at him, and if you can land headshots and all that type of shit, and like one tap somebody across the map with a fucking arrow headshot, by all means play him. But I just think there's still better options. He's a lot better than he was though, because a few seasons ago he was fucking dog shit. But they've been slowly like improving and buffing his perks and giving him some minor changes every single season. That's kind of helped him out up until this point. So it's a lot better than he was at least. Zarya's going right up into ban tier. This is our first tank that we're going to be talking about that is a must ban every single game. They gave Zarya a new perk that just allows her to gain energy from doing damage now, y'all. You get 3 energy from hitting somebody with your secondary fire, and that only counts for one person. If you hit multiple people, you charge double that if you're hitting multiple people with your secondary fire. So they gave her a minor perk now to where instead of having to have people shoot you, you can just do damage. You can charge your own power up now, which takes a lot of the problematic stuff of having to have a team that actually helps you out, or having to have people shoot your barriers and your shields to gain power. Even if people don't want to do that now, you can just deal damage, and you're eventually going to start getting a lot more power and doing a lot more damage by yourself. So it takes a lot of the shit, like the RNG shit of the enemy team having to get them to shoot your barriers and your shields to gain power, and takes a lot of that shit away, and you can just gain your own power now without having to worry about that. So really, really good. And like overall, she's just incredibly good. I think the problem with her too in like a lot of your solo queue games and in like a lot of your mid-tier, average tiers of play is people just don't coordinate around her, and like they just see a tank with a shield, and no matter what they see, like you're supposed to play around the barrier so you don't feed her all charge and like feed her a bunch of power, but like people just shoot at her, they don't care. That's the main problem, and she's just so annoying to play against. I think people do not like playing against her at all. I'm going to talk about the next 2 tanks because we're going to be talking about these both, and they're both going up into S tier. These are the 3 tanks right now, y'all, that are the ones that you're going to be seeing played in every single one of your games, or usually banned in every one of your games. Zarya, Orisa, and D.Va. Orisa got a new perk to where it actually buffs her ult now, so normally her ult's kind of mid. You're lucky to maybe get like 1 or 2 kills with it, but now her ult, you can actually charge your health and recover your health by, I think it's 100 per second during your ult now, So you can actually become even more unkillable during your ult and charge the power up more so you're able to get more KOs with it. So that's it way better. Plus she has another new perk to where you can, during Fortify, your gun doesn't overheat and like you don't have a movement speed reduction. It's fucking crazy. Orisa is probably the best tank in the game. I don't know about you guys, but every single game I play, the majority of my games, no matter what I'm playing, I'm usually banning Zarya and Orisa like every single game. The third option is usually depending on the map and what I'm playing, but by default, usually both tanks I'm banning are usually Zarya and Orisa because I just fucking hate playing against them and they are not fun to play against. I fucking hate Orisa, I really do. Then we got D.Va, which has probably one of the craziest and like one of the best tier 3 new perks out of any of the tanks. With one of her new perks for her tier 2 perks, you can actually use the reload button to get like I think a 3-second window of like reduced spread on your miniguns. And actually I don't know if it does more damage or if it's just a reduced spread, but what it does, it just allows you to charge ult way faster and just pretty much kill everything because you don't have the RNG of like the huge spread of her guns. So it's incredibly good, really good. Plus the defense matrix is incredible. Like I don't know, everything about D.Va right now, especially with a lot of the stuff that was, you could arguably say was probably doing her job or like a lot better last patch. Hazard and Ramatra, and there's one or two other tanks that we'll talk about as well that you could argue probably running alongside her and justify playing over her sometimes. Those tanks are not as good this patch, so if you want a dive tank that shits damage and just shits ult charge and just charges their ult really fast and this dude does everything you really want out of that type of tank, I think D.Va's what you want currently. There's nothing on her level. I think you're gonna be, at least I've been seeing her banned in a lot of my games. If she's not banned, she's usually in the majority of the lobbies. She's incredibly good. So, what else we got? We got Baptiste going to S tier. Really good. I just don't see him played nearly as much for some reason. I see a lot of the other supports played a lot more. I think just because he's not as popular as some of the other supports, but that doesn't mean he's really bad. He's still an S tier worthy support in my honest opinion. He's just crazy damage, crazy survivability, really good heals. Juno got nerfed. We're going to talk about her next. If I can ever scroll down on this. She got nerfed last season. People were really mad at her, and then they gave her some really good perk changes. So now if you have one, once your I think it's your glide boots are active, your Medi Blaster just fires non-stop, I think is one of her perks. And then she's another one where like you can triple jump with her rocket boots or whatever the fuck it is. So she has her mobilities back pretty much. I think she's really good. I don't think she's like an S tier worthy, but I think Juno's good. If I would rather have a speed booster on my team as a support, I would pick Juno 100% over Lucio every single time. What else we got? We got Widow. Now this is a really tough one to rank just mainly because she's map dependent and skill dependent. Like if you're shit at Widow, like she's probably being like don't play tier because you're just doing nothing, you're just throwing the game. But like if you're average or above, or like if you're cracked at Widow and you're constantly like headshotting, like getting picks, I'd put her at like S or like even like band tier worthy on some maps. I'm gonna put her in A tier on this list just mainly because she's more skill dependent. Depends on the map and on the player, but she has the potential to even be like ban worthy on some maps depending on who's playing her as well. Moira is really solid. I don't think she's S tier worthy though. Her new perk to where like she reverses like the orbs or whatever the fuck it is, it just doesn't make much sense. I think she's one of the supports that definitely needs to have a look at her perks again because the new perks they gave her just don't make any sense. And they just aren't really that good in my honest opinion. Compared to the shit that she had before, I would rather have that than the new fucking reversal perk or whatever the fuck it is with her orbs. It just doesn't make any sense and it feels like shit to play. I don't know, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, but at least that's when I've played. I think Chunk's average. Gave him some new perks to where they're kind of based around his concussion mine, so like if you use his concussion mine for mobility, like if you have like I think it's 3 seconds increased attack speed after using your concussion mine or for like self-detonation or whatever it is to use it for mobility, and then if you kill somebody with a concussion mine, you get it refunded back to you. So I don't know. If I'm being real with you guys, I like the aluminum trap one that would increase the throw range on his steel trap, and then like allowed it so they can't heal if they get caught in his trap or whatever. I liked that, or I think it was aluminum frame. I don't know why they got rid of that. I think his perks are actually a downgrade if I'm being real. At least for my playstyle, I don't know. Depends how you play him. I think Echo's average. Really good perks. I just think the problem right now is there's just so many really good hit scans. Just make your life a living fucking hell. And plus, Diva is your main check, and she's in like 90% of your lobbies, especially if the other two tanks that are really good are banned. So you're gonna, more than likely, if you want to play Echo, you're gonna be playing against Diva or like some of the other hit scans that we're gonna talk about later in this video, every single game. So you're never gonna be getting the max amount of value out of her. Doomfist, I think Doom's actually really bad. I think Doom is like C tier. I think out of the tanks, he's one of the worst ones. I don't think he's good at all. I really don't, compared to a lot of the other tanks. His perks didn't really do much for him, and like I feel like there's just so many other better tanks to play. Same with Hazard. I'm gonna put Hazard like B tier. The main problem with Hazard is he was one of the tanks that was actually exploiting the bug that was giving him more armor, similar to Ramatra, that actually got fixed with this season. So with his block and having all the armor and shit, you're not nearly as survivable as you once were, and that really reduced how good he actually is. Because a lot of people were exploiting that bug and like the armor changes and all that shit we got with the season. That's one of the reasons why he was really good last season. He's no longer nearly as good. Symmetra I think is actually really solid. I'm gonna put her A tier though because I think she's more map situational. I actually think she's a ban worthy. You're actually gonna see Symmetra banned in a lot of your games as well. You could probably even put Symmetra up into SS ban tier because for some reason a lot of your games people like to ban Sim, and it just depends on what the tank really wants. A lot of the tanks don't like playing against her, and a lot of people find her just annoying to play against. She's kind of in the same boat as Sombra. Like she gets banned a lot as well, just mainly because she's kind of annoying to play against and people don't like playing against her. I don't think she's really incredibly good. She's more map dependent and like team dependent, but she has some really cool new perks as well, being able to like create a shield instead of your teleporter, which gives her a lot more viability, especially in like your solo queue games where people aren't really going to be using your teleporter as much anyways. So giving her a shield and having her play like a mini DPS tank is kind of cool. I don't know. I'll keep her A tier though. That Torb, I don't think Torb's that good. I think Torb's like B tier, y'all. They got rid of one of his best perks, which I think was the one where he got the overloaded turret. They got rid of that, and now they gave him some other shitty fucking perks that just don't really do that much. I just don't think he's that good. I think if you want to be playing like something like him, like there's just so many other better damage to play right now. Like why would you play Torb? I really don't know. Wrecking Ball was actually disabled for like the majority of the season so far. He was actually re-enabled and put back into the game. I think like a day or two at least from recording this. He was bugged. There was some bug with him, so they had to take him out of the game. I think he's actually really solid. It just comes down to if you can actually play him. If you're a Wrecking Ball that just rolls around all game and literally does nothing, then I'd probably put him at like D tier. If you're a Wrecking Ball that actually knows how to play him and you know what to do and how to play him down to a T with the disruption and like all the shit he can actually do, then I'd probably put him even like higher than A tier, but like in general I'd probably put him like A tier. You just don't see him play it that much too, and like if you do see him play it, it comes down to the player. Usually the only people that are playing him, like your really sweaty Wrecking Ball players, like your average tier players, are just playing all the other tanks. I think Malga's really good. Malga's really good, y'all. I think Malga's back. They gave him a perk to where I think he gets healing or some shit back. I'm not sure if it's alt charge or healing if somebody's ignited with his miniguns. It's just fucking crazy. I think it's overhealth. He gets overhealth or shields or whatever it is. I have to go double check, but he gets like health or something back when people are on fire. After you're able to shoot at people and light them up on fire, which is pretty much all game. Like 100% of the game, somebody's gonna be lit on fire, and like you're gonna have somebody ignited from shooting them with your miniguns, especially the tank. So you're always gonna be getting value out of that. So that makes him like way better than he was. I don't know. Plus a lot of this shit that was normally he played into like really isn't as good. Ramatra is another one that he was kind of struggling against because Ramatra was just fucking unkillable. you guys have seen a little bit. Ramatra got significantly nerfed. I don't think he's nearly as good. So Malga by far way better this season. The only thing I think that's really maybe holding him back is D.Va being way better than him. But even then, you can just, if you want to play Malga, you can just ban D.Va out too. So you always have that option. That's Soldier 76. His perks are actually a lot better. I just don't think there's any reason to play him though. I think if you want a hit scan, you're going to be playing McCree or Ashe, which we'll just talk about next, because I'll just get him out of the way. Where's McCree at on here? McCree where'd McCree go? I don't know where, oh, here's McCree. I was talking about Ashe. Where'd Ashe go? Here's Ashe. McCree and Ashe are the two, like, best hit scans in the game right now, I think, by far. I'd probably put him at, like, S tier. You could probably argue even, like, McCree is almost a ban-worthy. Pretty much what they did with McCree is they gave him a new tier 2 perk to where he has like a long range snipe on it with his gun. So you no longer have the fan the hammer stuff. You have like a piercing shot that bleeds. That's kind of like a long range sniper shot and it does a lot of damage. Especially if you can land a headshot with it. It's really, really good and it has like a 5-second cooldown, which is crazy. So not only do you have close and medium range damage now, you also have long range sniper type damage, which is fucking crazy. I think McCree probably is the best hit scan in the entire game. You're going to be seeing him in the majority of your matches. You could probably even argue if you really don't want to play against him, he's maybe ban-worthy. I just think that's kind of a wasted ban over some of this other stuff, but if you don't want to play against McCree, you can probably ban him. I think he could be ban-worthy. Same with Ashe. Ashe also got a really good perk. I think probably the second best hit scan in the game. It kind of comes down to what you really want to play. It's either or. I think McCree is a little bit better than Ashe is, but pretty much what they did with Ashe is they made it so like your dynamite, you can actually self-explode it now. So instead of having to shoot it, you just detonate the dynamite with a click of a button now. So it takes all the aim out of actually having to detonate your own dynamite, and you can just throw it somewhere and then automatically detonate it and get damage out of it anyways. So you're getting way more ult charge, way more damage, and way more value out of the dynamite. Just be able to just throw it in an area and just explode it with the detonation button. So apart from that, nothing with her's really changed, but it's way more consistent, does way more damage. You're gonna be getting way more ult with her as well. So, and you just overall dumbed Ashe down as well. So if you were somebody before that had bad aim with her, now that one of the main things that you would need to use to actually have aim and actually shoot at the dynamite, you don't got to worry about aiming at the dynamite anymore. You just have to worry about having poor aim shooting her actual gun. So it just dumbs her down even more. So all your average players are that much better at her and get way more value out of her now. So I'm gonna put Pharah at the same tier as Echo. She has a really good new tier 3 perk. Like if you hit somebody with a concussion mine and like I think there's like a 3-second window where they're revealed and they take extra damage, like 30% extra damage. But the problem I've been seeing with Pharah, especially this season, is there's just too many things to just kill her out of the sky. The two main things that you're seeing every single game, there's always a McCree or an Ashe on the enemy team. If there's not, then there's usually probably a Soldier 76. And if it isn't any of those, there's probably a combination of both of those, and then a D.Va on the enemy team that's making your life a hell. So it's just so difficult to play her right now. That's why I can't really put her any higher. There's just too much shit that just shoots her out of the sky and just is able to deal with her really easily. Kind of the same boat as Echo's in currently. If I'm being real, I fucking hate Mercy players. I probably put Mercy at don't play because I fucking hate the people that play her. And I hate how she gets skins and Blizzard just fucking bends a knee and bows down to the Mercy players like every fucking season with like 10 skins and like all the shit that they want to give her. But I don't know. In reality, I think Mercy overall is like A+ tier. She gets a lot more value if you have like a good DPS or a good tank on your team that you're able to pocket it with like the blue beam and all that stuff. And there's a lot of stuff that you can get value out of right now currently with blue beam. The main two things being McCree and Ashe, and then also like a blue beam Freyja is also really, really broken. So there is stuff that you do get value out of with blue beam, but if you're solo queuing, it just comes down to what you have on your team. She's a lot better also if you're like in a duo or like if you're in like a 2, 3, 4 stack and not playing solo queue. I think she gets a lot more value that way as well. That way you're coordinated with somebody, you can actually get value out of your blue beam and be able to pocket whoever you need to pocket. You know that they're actually going to carry the game or actually be a consistent player with the pocket. Unlike some other random person you have on your team that you don't know what the fuck they're going to do. So. I hate Mercy players though. You guys are terrible. I hate them. Most entitled, cringe pieces of shit ever are the Mercy players. That's an entirely different video, though. I could probably make like an hour video ranting on Mercy players. If that's something you guys want to see, let me know. Bastion, I think Bastion's B tier. I don't think there's really any reason to play him right now. The only reason to play him is like as a tank buster, and like on certain maps where he is a little bit better. Like I think Eichenwall is a really good map for him. There's one or two other maps he's really good on, but it just comes down to what the enemy team is playing and what their tank really is, because the main role that the Bastion really is going to fall into is like a tank buster and either like a shield breaker or like just shitting all over the enemy team's tank. That's going to be your main job most of the time. There's also a lot of shit that just kind of just dives on you for free, like Reaper being one of them. A pretty good Tracer can just easily deal with the Bastion. There's a bunch of other stuff too. Just kind of shits all over him currently. I think Junker Queen's B tier. You know, you thought Junker Queen would be way better, especially with like a new perk that pretty much refreshes all her cooldowns when she ults, which is absolutely fucking broken. But like, the problem with her, she just dies too easily. She just has no survivability. She has really good damage and like all that type of stuff, and she has really good like up close pressure, but like she just takes too much damage and like her survivability just fucking sucks. That is the main problem with Junker Queen, is her survivability compared to a lot of these other tanks. She just falls over and dies way too fucking easy. That's just the main problem with her currently. And that's been the main problem with her for I don't know how many fucking seasons now. She's just too easy to fucking kill. And having the shout is just not enough. The shout is just not enough. It gives you shields and movement speed and all that shit, but it gets shredded through way too fast, especially with how much damage is in the game. And like, I think compared to a lot of these other tanks, she just doesn't have the survivability she really needs to do her job. That's the problem I've been seeing with her currently. Brig, I think Brig's probably the worst support in the entire game. I don't know if she's don't play tier worthy, but she's probably C tier worthy. The perk they gave her, the new perk, I think it's the movement speed in like the instant inspire activation when hitting somebody with a shield bash or whatever the fuck it is. It's awful. Her perks are like, she has decent like tier 1 perks, but like her tier 2 perks are fucking trash. I don't know. The problem with Brig is like they need to bring her stun back. And like, it's really crazy as well. Brig is not only bad in 5v5 or like 6v6, this is mainly a 5v5 list, but she was also added into Stadium for this same update, and she's probably the worst support in the entire game for Stadium on the same update as well. Yeah, I thought Brig was going to be good in Stadium. I was like, oh man, I was hyped for Brig being put into Stadium. I was like, oh, well, at least Brig fucking sucks in your normal game modes. Maybe I can actually play Brig in Stadium and she'll actually be pretty good. The only build she has in Stadium, she has like an okay passable average like shield build where you're able to run like a huge shield and that type of thing in Stadium. Apart from that, she's dog shit. She's probably the worst support in the entire game for Stadium. So not only is she the worst support in all your other game modes, she's a new addition to Stadium, and she's also the worst support in that. Awful fucking balance team. If there's a support that needs her perks to be changed or buffed or whatever, going into like the hot fix or the mini balance patch that we're supposed to have in like a week or two from now, Brig's another one of those supports that needs her perks looked at again. Every single time she gets new perks, they just don't do anything, or they're terrible compared to a lot of the other supports. I think just the problem with Brig 2 is like she just dies too fucking easy. Like she just has no survivability. She's a support that is supposed to brawl, and her entire identity is brawling people to do damage and do your healing. Apart from having the whip shot to keep your healing active, you're supposed to be brawling and doing damage, and she can't even fucking do that with how much damage there is in the game. And like, she just dies too fucking easy. That's the problem. Overwatch 1 Brig will forever be missed. I cannot stand Overwatch 2 Brig, especially after they reworked her ult into the whatever it is now with the big shield and that type of shit, and they got rid of her stun. Bring back the Brig stun. Give her a tier 2 perk, and give her like a 1 second stun on her shield bash. Give her extra range on the shield blast and make it stun. That would be a great tier 2 perk. Why we're getting this other bullshit with attack speed and all this other shit that's just awful and does nothing for her, I have no idea. I think the real problem is the devs secretly hate Brig because she was one of the most hated characters in Overwatch 1 because they couldn't balance that game either. That was an entire different balance team, and that's way back in the day already. It doesn't pay really ranting about that, but I genuinely think that the devs for this game still hold a grudge against Brig for some reason, and they do not want her to be good. That is my secret hunch. I think that's what the current team, or at least the balance team, or whoever's in charge of balance and that type of stuff with the game, they secretly do not like Brig. They never want her to be good. I mean, they got their wish. She's probably been the worst support for like the majority of Overwatch 2 so far, so they're keeping up with the tradition of keeping Brig bad compared to all the other supports. She fucking sucks, which is really sad because I love playing her. And not only she's bad in the main mode, she's also terrible in Stadium. Can't make that shit up. Just got Road Hog. Where do I even put this? I mean, if you guys really want to know, like, I made an entire 30-minute video talking about Road Hog. He got entirely reverted, or like reworked in quotation marks, back to his previous form, or whatever you want to call it. He no longer has the pig pen, he has the secondary fire bullshit on his gun again. And then they also gave him a 2-second internal cooldown on his take a breather, so you're not able to use it freely anymore. There's a fucking internal cooldown on it, so he's just way easier to kill, and he's way easier to stun out of his healing and all that type of shit. I made an entire 30-minute video talking about the rework. If you guys really want like an in-depth explanation on Roadhog and why he's fucking trash, I'd probably even put him in like D tier. I'm a level like 220 Roadhog player, and then like I can barely even play him. I think I've lost more games on him this season when I've even done really well. I just think it's because he's fucking shit. He's terrible. I think he's by far the worst tank in the entire game. If there's one tank that needs to have some major buffs or changes to perks with like the mini balance patch we're getting in like a week or two to kind of change some stuff that they missed, it's for sure Roadhog, because he's by far the worst tank in the entire game. This rework they did to him is the worst state he's ever been in. He has never been in a more unplayable, shitty, like, feeling state ever. Like, he feels like shit to play, and weak as he's ever been. This is the weakest Hog has ever been in the entire history. Probably even of, like, Overwatch 1. And Overwatch 2, for sure. At the very least, probably the weakest and worst Hog has ever been in the entirety of Overwatch 2. If I can't make him work when I'm somebody that has 80 to 90% hook accuracy, and like I know how to play him down to a fucking T, and I'm still getting my ass kicked and losing a lot of my games, even though I'm doing really well, there's a major problem. I think the major issue is he's fucking terrible. And he no longer has the one shot either, which is an entirely different video. So, like I said, if you guys want to watch an entire video talking about why the Hog rework was a failure, and what they need to do to change him and make him good again, I'll leave a link to that video at the end of this video. Go check it out. I'm not going to rant on him anymore because otherwise we'll be sitting here for another 25 minutes. Don't even get me started. Alaria is really good. I'm going to put Alaria at A+ tier. I think Alaria is really solid. The problem with Alaria is just people don't play her enough. I think that's the main problem with her. I think Alaria is incredibly good, but people just rather play more other popular supports. You're going to see a lot more Juno and like Kiri and some of these other supports over Alaria, but like if anything, they're on like the same level. I think she's really good. Even some maps where you can like place her healing turret and place it where like it's never going to get destroyed. There are some maps that have like really good turret spots where like they just never get destroyed at all. Like the entire game or at certain choke points on certain maps. She gets a lot more value that way as well. Really solid ult, really solid damage, decent survivability. She has everything you really need. Really solid support. Do Venture next. I think Venture's really good. I do think Venture's pretty good. I don't think she's like crazy game-breaking good. Like I'll put her at A+ tier. As like a projectile hero, like I think she's okay. I just don't care for her perks. Like there's gonna be people in the comments, oh well, Seismic Sense was a garbage tier 1 perk. You could probably argue it was, but I liked having the reveal on her tier 1 perk. That's no longer a thing. They reworked her perks now to where her tier 1 it no longer is like a reveal type ability when you're underground, but instead, if you drill dash while you're underground, you'll have a 50% longer distance. That should be something that's just in her base kit. Why is that a perk? I don't know. Granted, it is way better overall than Seismic Sense and having just the reveal of being underground. It is better, so I can't deny that. And then she also has like a new tier 2 perk to where like if you activate a... I don't know what button it is, depends on what controller you're on or if you're playing on PC or console, but at least for me I think it's R. I think it's R on the controller. If you press that you get like 4 seconds of like increased explosion radius and range on your gun, so I don't know. Is it as good as her last perk? I don't know if it is. I think they're both about the same. If anything, she's about the same as she was last season. You could argue she's maybe a little bit better because her tier 1 perk's a little bit better overall. It has a little bit more utility and usability, but I'm gonna put her A+ tier. I think if you're really good with her, like at least for me, she's my most played DPS. I can carry games on her. I think she has carry potential if you're really good at her still. I'm not gonna talk about her very much, but whatever. Mei, I think Mei's average. I think that's the main issue with Mei is that she just gets dove way too easily. Like, apart from that, she's incredibly annoying to play against, but, like, if you don't know what you're doing, like, if a team's kind of trying to just play to kill you the entire game and hard focus you, you literally do nothing. Being that she has no mobility, and if you're able to play around the ice block cooldown and, like, her wall cooldown perfectly, and most of the time, or even not perfectly, just kind of time them out and play around both of them, she just doesn't do that much, so... It also is kind of she's also kind of comp and map dependent, like, depends what you're really playing. I think she gets a lot more value if you're like, a non-solo queue player. If you're in a stack, she's a lot better than solo queuing for sure. Winston, I'm going to put in B tier. I just think the main problem with Winston, he is a little bit better than he was, don't get me wrong. I think Winston, by far, with his perk changes and all that type of stuff, he is a little bit better than he was for the past season. But I just don't see him play it at all. When I've been seeing him play, he just gets fucking wrecked. I don't know if it's just because the Winston players I get in my games are just terrible, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing, or if he's just genuinely still not the greatest. I don't know. I just think I'm just getting some really shitty Winston players in my games. I don't know. And then I just don't see him played nearly enough. Like, why would you play Winston over a lot of these other tanks? Like, most people rather just play D.Va. D.Va just does this kind of the same job as Winston. She's just a million trillion times better than Winston is, sadly enough. That's kind of the problem with him. And last but not least, we have probably the saddest change of this entire tier list, y'all. This is probably the saddest change, y'all. Ramatra went from being a must-ban, must-pick every single game for the majority of last season because he was bugged and armor was just fucking busted. He got significantly nerfed this season with armor changes, the bug fix that everybody was exploiting for like an entire season, or I think even more than a season. It might have been even more than a season. I forgot how long that bug was in the game. And then they also gave him like an internal cooldown on his form change, so between his block and then his melee punch form. So if you try to block and then you go to punch, I think there's like a 1 second internal cooldown now, when before there was no cooldown between those. I think Ram's probably average. I'm gonna put him higher than Hazard because he still has a lot better survivability. Like, he still has really good damage. His ult's still really good. I just think the main thing with him right now is like he's not nearly as survivable as he was for last season. Last season, the guy was literally fucking unkillable, and you could cycle cooldowns for like 10 minutes, and you'd be fighting for like 10 minutes, cycling between ult, his two forms, getting your block back again, getting your armor back again, like all that type of shit. You could probably sit and stall a team fight out for like 3 minutes just by yourself, even if your entire team was dead, if you had an ult on deck, and just cycled your cooldowns and your ult perfectly. It was just fucking beyond broken. I'm glad they nerfed him, but I still think he's good if you like playing him. Like, he's not dead at all. Like, you can still play him and he still puts in work. But if you want a tank that's just similar and like there's just better stuff. If I were you guys, I would just play Ryan. I think Ryan's actually better than Ramatra this patch. I think the only way you're maybe even going to be playing Ramatra is if the enemy team has a Reinhardt. That way you can kind of just check him and punch him through the shield. I think that's one of the only main reasons you're going to be even playing Ramatra this season. Apart from that, there's just so many other better tanks to play. You're not going to be seeing him as much. Not bad by any means at all, though. Don't get it wrong though. I don't think Ramatra's really bad per se, but there's not really much reason to play him anymore. Now that he actually dies way quicker and he's actually killable, people don't want to play him. It's crazy. Exploit the guy for an entire fucking season, get boosted off of having Ramatra be unkillable, and exploiting that in the majority of your ranked games. And now that he's actually balanced, and they nerfed the fuck out of him and fixed the bugs that he had, nobody wants to play him. It's funny how people just play a character just to fucking rank up and exploit the shit out of him. I'll never understand that. What else we have? That is it, everybody. That is it. That is the entire list. Right there, y'all. And there you have it, everybody. I'll throw the final list on screen for you guys right now. This is the final tier list for Season 18 of Overwatch 2. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Overall, like, if I'm being real with you guys, the balance is just terrible. They gotta fire the balance team for this game. Like, why Bastion is probably one of the best DPS in the entire game after they absolutely just giga-buffed him and gave him some of the best perks ever. It's just beyond me. Same with the Road Hog rework, probably the strongest, most broken rework we've had of all time. Brig and Lucio, two of the most mindless, brain-numbing, zero-skill supports in the entire game, being a must-pick or a must-ban in every single ranked game. It's just not fun at all. Genji being one of the best DPS, not fun to play against. Zen, Torb, you guys know how awful those two are to play against. Why are they the best in the game? I don't know. Especially with how they giga buff Zen. And then you have a brand new support, and you have stuff like Juno and Mercy that are just literally unplayable right now. How is Wuyang a support that had a playtest literally 2 weeks ago, and then on release, the guy has the worst support release of all time? This guy is terrible. Why is Wuyang probably the worst support we've ever had on release? You guys keep saying that Lifeweaver was the worst support that we ever had and the weakest support ever when he was put into the game years ago, like 2 years ago. I think by far the worst support of all time being released is Wuyang, for sure. They gotta buff this guy. He just doesn't do anything. He sucks. He is terrible. And like, if you look at the rest of this list, it just goes to show you how fucking terrible the balance is with this game. It really is. Like, why are some of these heroes where they are? Like, why does this shit exist? Why is the balance with this game so terrible? I have no idea. Hopefully they learn their lesson going forward. Like I said, there's supposed to be a balance patch later either this next week or a week after, within like the next 1 or 2 weeks. That's supposed to fix some of the perks and like do some balance changes to some of this stuff. So I highly doubt any of this will truly get fixed though until we get the mid-season patch, or probably like 1 or 2 seasons from now, like how it usually is. And then they'll ruin something else. So overall, that is your entire list. If there's anything I forgot to explain or forgot to talk about in the video, let me know in the comments down below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And alright, for the people that didn't skip to the last like 4 or 5 minutes of the video like they did for the last tier list I did for last season, you guys will actually know the real tier list. And if you're somebody that just skips the video and never watches anything, we're going to find out real fast, because it's going to be blatantly obvious which people actually watch the entire video, and then the ones that skip to like the last 5 minutes of the video and then wonder where everything is and why the list looked the way it is when I explain everything and I go through every single thing. So if you're also somebody that wants to go and screenshot the tier list without actually watching the video and then go and post about it on X, and then I don't know, what is it, like engagement farm or whatever the fuck somebody tried to do last time with my last tier list, by all means go do it. Thanks for the extra 2,000 to 3,000 views, by the way, whoever that was, because there was somebody that never watched my last tier list and then went and made a viral post on X about it, and then I got like a bunch of views from it. So if that's something you guys want to do, by all means go do it. I'm not going to stop you. Go ahead and do that and go engagement farm, make your cash. As long as I get my shit promoted in the comments or wherever, or in the post, that's fine. Anybody else that goes in the comments down below, we're gonna be dunking it and you're gonna be getting fucking embarrassed in the comments down below, because I'm sure 90% of the people are probably gonna skip to the end of the video again, and they're gonna go in the comments and be act like retards. So those of you guys that actually watched the entire video, though, at least as of right now, I'm not going to talk about it very much more, but the balance of the game right now actually isn't too bad. If I'm going to be 100% real with you guys, there are some outliers, but I think overall right now the balance is probably the best it's been in quite a while, even with all these new perks. So I can't really complain that much. Normally I sit and complain and bitch and complain about the balance changes for like 25-30 minutes at the end of the video, but I have really nothing to say about the balance for the game as of right now, y'all. The main thing is like there's just a few outliers, like a few heroes that need some major changes, but overall like 90% of the game is balanced in a pretty decent spot, so I can't shit on them too much, especially with all the perks and all the shit they've added. It could have been way worse, so I do give them credit. It actually turned out pretty well, at least balance-wise, from what I thought in like the patch notes and leading up to actually playing everything in the game. So I'm not saying the game's perfect, but it could be a million times worse, and I'm not going to complain that much about it. So for now, for real though, I'm going to get out of here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe if you are new. I really would appreciate it if you are new. Subscribe and share the video. Apart from that, I will be getting out of here. I'll see you guys in a future video. Also do stream over here, usually Friday and Saturday nights, and then sometimes on Twitch, usually around 9 ADST. So if that interests you guys, subscribe so you know when I go live. Apart from that, I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching, everybody.